I have noticed a very interesting pattern in people who have struggled, to come from nothing, to build something of significance. People who started from scratch to achieve a level of success. There's a subtle aggression. There's a subtle attitude they usually have when they encounter someone who already has that level of success, or a level of wealth. That didn't have to struggle like them. It's as though they're looking at them like their own story is more noble because they started from scratch. So for example, if you see someone who was born very poor, that now became extremely rich. There's a way they look at the people that were born rich already, thinking that, okay, their own story is more noble than this other one. It is not more noble. I just want to remember, it's not more noble that it started from scratch. It's a beautiful testimony that parents worked hard and left wealth for their kids. That is how it's supposed to be. Is that not what you want for your own children? That is exactly how it's supposed to be, right? I learned this thing from my brother. That it doesn't make your story sweeter. It makes it sweeter for you, right? You need to understand that all fingers are not equal. Life deals different hands to different people. What you owe yourself is to make the best out of whatever hand life has dealt you. That's what you owe yourself. That is what you owe yourself. So don't complain. Don't compare yourself to anyone. See, let me tell you a story. Right after school, right? I wrote my last paper in school September 3, right? And November 17, I went home, for my mom's birthday. I surprised her. I think by November 26, I was back in Lagos. So that 1 week that I spent at home for her birthday was the only time I spent at home, after school. Immediately I was back in Lagos house hunting, right? Because I went to Unilag. I was house hunting and I started paying rent on my own, right? My brother and we got together, started paying rent. I started living. So there was no time that I was in my mother's house, I didn't have the luxury of, just staying there for a year or two to save up, then I'll move into my own. No. I started paying rent immediately. But there are people there are some of my classmates that are still living with their parents. There is nothing wrong with that. It's their choice. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's their choice. It's just, first off, is the kind of life I've chosen to live. Secondly, I didn't have that luxury because I started working immediately, like while I was in school in my final year, like 3 months to go, I started working, right? And my rent took up about 70% of everything I had worked for in like 6 months, 7 months. It was crazy. But then that was just the situation, right? But I didn't start now complaining that, can you imagine? There are people that are just enjoying in their parents' house, and I'm here working for my own money. It doesn't make anything more noble. It does not make anything more noble. Stop comparing yourself to people. Comparison is one of the most foolish things you can ever do. There are people in this life that will never enter a bus. There are people that don't understand what you mean by you enter the public bus. And it doesn't make them spoiled brats. It is just in the level that they are operating at. Do you want them to enter a public bus so that some people can kidnap them? Right? So don't get angry that there are certain people that are already operating in a level that you want to eventually operate. And that shouldn't make you mad. Let it inspire you instead.